Tom Hardy's first glimpse of Los Angeles International Airport, that rain-washed January dawn, was a smear of sodium orange light on wet asphalt, the kind of half-lit haze paparazzi lenses love. Hood up, beard trimmed to Venom 3 press tour length, he shouldered a scuffed leather duffel and tried to vanish into the tide of travelers murmuring about Marvel leaks, celebrity airport style, and other phrases that forever orbit his name on YouTube's trending bar. Today's destination was Vancouver, where an ultra-secret reshoot would decide whether the studio's next blockbuster landed on playlists titled Tom Hardy's Best Movie Moments. The story gets more interesting towards the end. Make sure to follow along before continuing. In the meantime, I'd love to talk to you in the comments. Please share your thoughts with me. Inside Terminal 4, the air smelled of burnt espresso, sanitizer, and duty-free cologne. Digital billboards looped ads for airport lounge luxury, last-minute upgrade, and, ironically, conflict resolution masterclasses. Sam Nichols, Hardy's wiry assistant and crisis PR wizard, paced beside him reading the morning briefing from a phone. Security fast track second 6:45, gate B17 wheels up 9:05, Zoom script meeting en route. Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow night, keywords to push, behind the scenes, real fight training, exclusive first look, easy. Nothing's ever easy in an airport, Hardy muttered, tightening the strap across his chest. 3 lanes from the TSA desk, a human snarl stopped them cold. A tall man in a navy cashmere overcoat and vintage fedora, rolling a monogrammed carry-on, argued with a startled agent. Silver spectacles perched on his aquiline nose, a U.S. Senate lapel pin gleamed under fluorescent light. Hardy recognized him at once from late-night news thumbnails. Senator Eli Rosen, an outspoken champion of anti-piracy law, civil rights icon, and, as every profile reminded America, one of the most influential Jewish politicians on Capitol Hill. "I have global entry clearance," Rosen barked, Boston cadence sharp enough to slice butter. "Scan the passport again." "Sir, the system flagged a secondary check. It's obviously an error. Do you know who I am?" Hardy felt Sam tense. One careless photograph and tomorrow's algorithm would scream, "Tom Hardy airport fight with Jewish senator, full video." The safest play was to breathe, step sideways, and slip behind the velvet rope. He never got the chance. An impatient traveler shoved forward, clipped Hardy's duffel, and dominoed straight into Rosen's back. The senator lurched, his wheeled bag jackknifed. Hardy reacted on instinct, BJJ reflexes faster than thought, catching Rosen's elbow before the man toppled. Cameras flashed. A dozen phones rose like periscopes, and somewhere in that blur of shutter clicks and startled gasps, a sharp elbow from the senator's own flailing arm smashed Hardy square on the cheekbone. Pain burst white behind his eyes. Reflex turned into momentum. He staggered, righted himself, and looked up to find Senator Eli Rosen staring at him, as if the actor were an assailant. "Touch me again and you'll regret it," Rosen hissed, voice low but carrying. The phones were already recording. The hook was set. Hardy raised both hands, palms open in the universal "I don't want trouble" gesture. "Easy, Senator, just keeping you on your feet." "On my feet is exactly where I was until you barged in," Rosen snapped. Sam slid between them. "Gentlemen, let's all take a breath." Security arrived. 2 blue-jacketed officers, more interested in crowd control than nuance. "Step aside, please." "Sir, are you injured?" Rosen straightened his fedora. "Only my dignity." This man, a jab of the finger, decided to play hero. Hardy massaged the blooming bruise under his right eye. "I caught you before you face-planted, that's all." Before the officer could reply, a bystander shouted, "I got it on video!" Another added, "Upload it! Tom Hardy airport fight!" Hashtags spawned in real time. Hashtag Hardy versus Senator. Hashtag airport brawl. Hashtag celebrity drama. The scene teetered on the edge of full-blown spectacle. The very circus Hardy spent whole careers trying to choreograph, never quite control. A TSA manager hustled over. "Everybody without a boarding pass needs to keep moving." Rosen folded his arms. "Manager, run my passport again. I'm late for a classified briefing in DC." The manager glanced at the screen, brow furrowing. "System still wants a hands-on search, sir. Random selection." "Random my ass," Rosen muttered. "Fine, let's expedite." As 2 agents led the senator toward a private inspection room, Hardy exhaled. Crisis averted. Almost. The Western universe bruise darkening under his eye would bloom on talk show close-ups. Makeup could hide discoloration. YouTube thumbnails were less forgiving. Sam whispered, "Let's move," before TMZ materializes. They entered the fast-track queue. Hardy riffled for his passport, mind replaying the bizarre collision. He'd met senators before at fundraisers and premieres. Rosen's reputation, brilliant, abrasive, uncompromising, and now the man probably thought Hardy elbowed him on purpose. 40 minutes later, cleared and halfway through a cinnamon latte in the Delta One lounge, Hardy's phone pinged. At Breaking Hollywood had already tweeted a grainy 15-second clip. The moment of impact, cropped to look like Hardy shoving Rosen. Caption, Tom Hardy attacks Jewish Senator at LAX. Retweets exploded. Sam paled. "We need a statement, like 5 minutes ago." Hardy cursed softly. "I saved him from face-planting." "The internet sees what the algorithm clips," Sam replied, thumbs darting across his phone. A lounge TV flickered to Entertainment News Now. The anchor's smile was polished plastic. In developing celebrity news, British actor Tom Hardy appears to tangle. Hardy muted the screen. "Great, this'll overshadow the reshoot." Sam inhaled. Option 1, release raw footage from another angle, if we can find any, and push Tom Hardy's Save Senator narrative. Option 2, personal apology plus charity shout-out, maybe Anti-Defamation League, to preempt anti-Semitism chatter. "I'm not apologizing for catching him," Hardy growled, "but I will call the man." Sam's eyebrows jumped. "Direct approach? You booked me a 45-minute layover. Plenty of time for a phone call." They requested Rosen's office number. Gate agents demurred. So Hardy recorded a concise video on his phone. No slick lighting, just him and the latte. "Morning, folks. Quick clarification. No fight, no attack. Senator Rosen tripped. I grabbed his arm. We bumped heads, literally. Sorry for the bruise on both sides. Respect to the senator and safe travels." Sam uploaded it with tags. Hashtag Tom Hardy speaks. Hashtag Truth Matters. Hashtag Airport Incident Explanation. Within minutes, the clip trended, half applauding, half demanding more drama. Meanwhile, flight DL-2687 began boarding. Hardy took the A-group lane, hoodie still up, sunglasses shielding the shiner. First class was almost empty, a sanctuary of leather seats and hushed lighting. He stowed his duffel, slid into 1A, closed his eyes. Peace lasted 90 seconds. A throat cleared. Hardy looked up to see Senator Rosen blocking the aisle, overcoat gone, fedora tucked beneath one arm, stern expression creased by fatigue, and an identical bruise shadowing his temple. "Mind if we talk?" Hardy gestured to the adjacent seat. "Be my guest." The senator sat, folding his long legs. A flight attendant hovered, unsure whether to intervene. Rosen waved her off. "I watched your video," Rosen began, voice lower than earlier. "You could have spun it a dozen ways, blamed me entirely. You didn't." "I'm tired of clickbait," Hardy said. "I figured the truth was easier." Rosen studied him through wire-rimmed glasses. "Truth is slippery once social media gets teeth in it. I spent 20 years crafting narratives on the Senate floor. One shaky phone video almost unraveled it." Hardy shrugged. "Almost unraveled mine, too." "Indeed," Rosen exhaled. "Mr. Hardy, Tom, I owe you thanks for stopping the fall, and an apology for my assumption you pushed me." "I've heard worse on set," Hardy replied with a faint smile. Rosen's lips twitched. "Fair, but there's more at stake than bruises. You and I both fight piracy. Different trenches, same enemy. Maybe this ridiculous morning can turn into something useful." Hardy raised an eyebrow. "You're proposing a joint statement, maybe even a PSA, respect airport staff, verify facts before sharing clips, sprinkle in anti-piracy messaging. We could film it right here, leverage the viral momentum." Hardy barked a laugh. "You move fast, Senator." "Election?" Sam appeared from row 2, eyes wide. "Everything okay?" Hardy motioned him closer. "Sam, meet Senator Rosen's Idea Factory." An hour later, somewhere over Oregon, a flight attendant held an iPhone while Hardy and Rosen recorded a 60-second spot. Hardy opened. "Hey everyone, Tom Hardy here. This morning, a shaky video suggested the senator and I were in a brawl. Here's what really happened. Rosen followed, blending humor and gravitas. We both learned two lessons: watch your footing and watch the full story before you share. Hardy rapped with a wink. And stop streaming bootleg movies, especially mine. They posted it mid-air via onboard Wi-Fi. The clip rocketed up YouTube's trending tab under celebrity news and viral apology videos. Comment sections flooded with relief, jokes, and, most valuably, links to legitimate streaming platforms. By the time the plane touched down in Vancouver, the narrative had flipped. Tom Hardy and Jewish Senator turned near accident into viral lesson on truth. Entertainment News now replayed the PSA, praising the unexpected buddy movie energy. Rosen's office issued a press release, lauding Hardy's quick reflexes and condemning sloppy click culture. Yet one ember still glowed. An anonymous social media account posted a freeze frame of Hardy's raised hands, captioned, "Hollywood thug intimidates Jewish leader." The post gathered anti-Semitic replies within minutes. Hardy's feed pinged non-stop with both support and vitriol. Rosen texted a link with 2 words, "Your move." Hardy typed back, "Mine and yours." That evening, instead of collapsing in his hotel, Hardy met Rosen and Sam in a Vancouver soundstage, an environment the actor could control. Using production lights and a borrowed 6K camera, they filmed a longer conversation, 20 minutes unscripted, about misinformation, anti-Semitism, and the responsibility performers and politicians share in the age of autoplay. Hardy spoke of growing up in multicultural London, Rosen of inheriting his grandfather's stories from Warsaw. They disagreed about copyright law but found common ground on humanity. The studio's digital team edited overnight. The video launched under the title, "Tom Hardy and Senator Rosen, Full Conversation, No Clickbait," with chapter markers. The airport incident, fighting piracy, stopping hate speech, tags, hashtag Tom Hardy interview, hashtag Eli Rosen, hashtag stop misinformation, hashtag airport truth. Within 48 hours, it hit 5 million views, flagged high engagement, low dislike ratio. Commenters thanked them for showing how adults solve problems, a phrase that made Hardy grin. But seismic change happened offline. Rosen's office partnered with the Anti-Defamation League and a Hollywood guild to draft best practice guidelines for crisis clips. Meanwhile, Hardy's publicist fielded studio calls. Could Tom and the senator cameo together on late night? Would they co-host a charity stream? Algorithms had birthed a duo no marketing plan could invent. 2 weeks later, Hardy strode through the same LAX concourse en route to a press conference. The once angry bruise had faded to a faint yellow crescent, barely visible beneath concealer. Digital billboards now looped a polished version of the PSA. He and Rosen cut together, the tagline scrolling beneath. "Think before you share. Truth takes off faster than rumors." Sam matched Hardy's pace. "You realize you turned an airport stumble into a global goodwill tour, right?" Hardy shrugged. "World loves a redemption arc, easier than explaining reshoot delays." Ahead, near the security gate, stood Senator Rosen, hands tucked in his overcoat pockets. He spotted Hardy and offered a half salute. "Ready for round 2? Hardy asked when they met. "I checked my shoelaces twice," Rosen deadpanned. They walked side by side toward the media pen, where cameras waited not for scandal, but for dialogue. Reporters shouted keywords: viral video, piracy reform, unlikely friendship. Flashes popped. For once, Hardy didn't mind. He took the podium first. "Couple of weeks ago, the senator and I proved you can collide in an airport and land on the same page. Today, we're announcing a joint initiative. Film studios, tech companies, government, teaching digital literacy in schools. Working title: True Story Project. Because every blockbuster, every headline, starts with knowing the facts." Rosen stepped forward, hand resting lightly on Hardy's shoulder. "And if our little mishap teaches anything, it's that disagreement doesn't have to end in division." Hardy looked down the line of reporters, imagining the thumbnails that would follow. "Tom Hardy and Senator team up. You won't believe why." Let them click. This time, the footage would outshine the bait. As the clatter of shutters finally ebbed, Hardy caught his reflection in a terminal window. suit a shade wrinkled from travel, bruise all but gone, but his stance more upright than it had felt in weeks. He thought of the thousands of young actors who watched every Hollywood headline like a weather report, calibrating their dreams against each new storm. If this collision-turned campaign could model a better forecast, one in which mistakes became bridges instead of barricades, then the whole absurd episode had earned its place in the highlight reel. He pictured classrooms where teenagers, phones in hand, would click on the True Story Project modules and learn to pause before forwarding rumor, would see two men from rival worlds displaying something rarer than celebrity sparkle. The art of reconsidering. Rosen leaned in and murmured, "Funny, isn't it? We flew across the continent just to wind up allies at Gate 22. Hardy chuckled. Plot twist worthy of Nolan. The senator's security detail signaled it was time to move, but Rosen lingered, extending a hand. Cameras zoomed. Hardy grasped it firmly. In that clasp lived a silent covenant. Politics and pop culture could, on occasion, write a footnote together that felt like progress. As they parted, Sam slid a fresh itinerary into Hardy's palm. Studio reshoot, voiceover session, night flight back to London. The schedule looked brutal, but Hardy felt lighter. Momentum, he'd learned, isn't just forward motion, it's the sum of every course correction after an unexpected swerve. Outside, a jet thundered skyward, its contrail scribbling a temporary signature across the California blue. Tomorrow the vapor would vanish, but the route would remain, charted forever in flight data, and in the memory of those who had watched it ascend. Hardy inhaled, squared his shoulders, and headed for the security line, ready for the next unscripted scene waiting beyond the clouds.